Alright boys, welcome back. So a few days ago we got the season 5 update going over all the things coming along in season 5, and one of those is going to be the event arena that is going to allow you to get some accessory and harping stone, just more stuff to upgrade accessories, which is definitely something you should be going for. But I think the most interesting part about it is that in this event arena, where they typically like to ban healers, support characters, you know, the typical thing, this time is actually banning SSR mages, so you can actually only use SRs and also rare characters, which is going to be very, very fun because there are a lot of SRs that on paper sounded okay, but when you compare them up with the big boys, it just doesn't work. So today we're going to go over my characters that I think is going to like shine out the most and go over which ones should you start leveling up right now, because while it's not going to happen for like another week or two, what's the exact day actually? It is happening on the 18th, so literally a week's time now. And if you have to use SRs and rare characters, you got to start leveling them up right now, because once again, you only have like 10 stamina a day, 15-ish. So if you miss one day of stamina, that is a drastic difference in your score. So you definitely want to start working on your characters. Actually, myself, I basically maxed out everyone's bond. All I got to do is actually work on the actual like levels of character. You can see I'm 115 for almost everyone in my box, basically. Okay, so here's the tier list just to make it a little bit easier for your visual pleasure. But I will say I'm probably going to be a bit wrong here because, once again, we've never experienced just full SRs and rare meta, right? If, like, for example, burn might actually be a top tier feature because Teresa can apply it, and I feel like we're going to go more of it towards a defensive meta because there aren't that many SR DPSs. Most of the SRs, especially rare characters, well, they more or less, and the good ones actually, are the ones that heal, support, that can make, you know, the actual, you know, SSRs a lot better, which is what I mean by the fact that we might be sleeping on, like, you know, Teresa who does burn and that might bypass the defense. We have like, you know, Magno and Lark who are DPS characters, but because I haven't seen them really in play, and when they did, especially against SSR characters, they didn't perform that well. So maybe, especially if people actually upgrade them, because people don't normally do that, they might stand out a little bit here. But I still think we're going to go more towards an actual defensive, maybe let the turns go up to like turn 50 to where you start ticking down and you get that passive where everyone just slowly dies. That's how I feel like the meta might go to, but once again, I might be wrong here. But let's start off. It's not really in order. I just think like anyone in SSS will be the best ones here. I'll start with Finral because you might ask, why is Finral better than Vatos? It's just because he does increase speed, right? Vatos is stamina, and at least in the SSR meta, that was obviously important because you want to do big nukes of your big DPS characters, where I don't think any SSRs are doing that. So it doesn't mean, so you don't necessarily need to start first here, but obviously Finral getting the actual speed buff for 2 turns is going to be arguably better, right? So yeah, I think once again, I feel like just Finral's going to be one of the best ones. Just the recycle ability is a lot faster. Asta, once again, people were unironically using this guy in PvP, mainly because it's actual ultimate. Granted, you can upgrade it. Does turn into a 60 actual percent taunt on an enemy, which, once again, all the characters we're going to name off here, a lot of them focus in buffing up and using hero skills. So having a taunt in the meta is probably going to be one of the best things. So I feel like Asta might be the go-to here. Plus, you can actually even as well use the combo attack here with actual, because you're stunned, but you can even use the combo attack of like, you know, and like have like an actual like a weird meta there. So once again, I feel like the combo attacks might be kind of crazy because don't Finral and Vanessa have one? Okay, so Finral's combined attack is increase all allies mobility. So that's very much like Vatos actually, but also grants continuous damage immunity for all allies for 2 turns. So if that Teresa burn meta does play out a little bit like I think it might, then that's gonna be a really good counter towards it. So yeah, Vanessa and you know, Finral might be like a go-to combo. Going back, these two up here, obviously Mimosa and also Noelle. Like low-key, once again, people were using these combos, and they kind of surprised me a little bit early days when I was using like Season 1 Yami, because they tank a lot, man. So if you, especially before, obviously, some Noelle came out. You can see it grants reduced damage by an attacker, which is, once again, kind of makes sense a little bit. Upon being great, you get a shield. This one grants a barrier to all allies as well. Increased defense, you're getting a tier 2 skill like it's a barrier. Grants an allied damage resistance as well. So that can be like the Asta if you taunt everyone. Once again, none of them are doing damage. And then if you go towards like the combo attack, you get a barrier. You get increased attack as well. Momo's I need to work on too, but once again, she was probably, I'd say, one of the best healers, like AoE wise. Obviously, Charmy I think might be a bit better. And maybe I'm ranking Charmy too low, because Charmy can get really, really high magic attack. If you heal someone with this, with like a magic attack, and bear in mind, Transcendence gear is out now, and even before, people are now maxed at the magic attack. Like, no one it's full healing. No one is like, it's never not full healing. This one as well can perform an extra attack, and honestly, once again, does do quite a lot of damage, especially against bots. Once again, we have to wait and see how it compares up with actual PP. This one, not gonna be too great. You more or less use a combo attack where it grants magic attack and an SP buff as well. Maybe I'm ranking Charmy too low, but she might be one of the best healers. So Ghost, I know, was a character people were kind of interested in when he was coming out a little bit towards the early launch, especially towards JP and KR, because he on paper he sounded like kind of a good DPS character, and I believe people did use him in some of the raid bosses because there weren't that many good blue characters in the game at the time. And yeah, he might do alright. Once again, I've maxed him out. I'm definitely going to try him out in PP. It's going to be so fun to use him because you've never used Ghost, of course. Ghost being a DPS character, what meta are we in here? But you can see he does do more damage towards healers, so that might be good to kind of chip down a Charmy, a Mimosa as well, who's actually going to be a red character, so he might do really well, especially because most of his skills, especially if he does crit, is going to actually resolve in another attack. So you're just going to do a bunch of extra attacks here. Another attack as well if there's a buff on himself. Extra attack on the ultimate if he crits, and a this as well can also perform an extra attack as well, 50% chance. Like, you can see this character can become a menace here. So Ghost might be a slept on character, but I can't really rate DPS as high just yet because we haven't seen him in play. You know, I've always been a big fan of Yunus, especially in the early days, because this guy was kind of the only good green character you could get for a free to play. And once again, he might do really good well with Asta. You can do a combo attack here, you can reduce the defense as well, it's going to do a lot of damage. And then by far one of the best things as well about his character is if he does crit, or has a chance, I think it is, then upon critting and also defeating, he does an extra attack. And once again, I've used this in PvE. It did do alright, but once again, I feel like right now with like maxed out magic attack, if you go crazy like you have been for the past few weeks, like your big DPS SSR characters, he might cook a little bit. Okay, so I want to put the spotlight on two more characters like the S tier. That is obviously Nebra and also Soul. Soul, always been a big fan of the character. Her actual ultimate does reduce the magic attack. So getting down onto a Charmy means her heals aren't going to be that good actually. Plus you can have a chance to inflict barrier move as well. This one, taunt, like I said, is going to be massively important because there's going to be so many healers, so many buffers, so the taunt enemy, and 80% chance, obviously very, very high. You can also reduce attack if there's an attacker. You can fortify, so you'll be a bit more tankier as well. This can also taunt as well, 70% chance. Like, once again, I feel like Soul might be, once again, a really, really good character, and I might even be using her because, yeah, just, like, I can see it right now. Taunting a Noel, taunting a Mimosa, just absolutely going to ruin the run. Maybe a nuke him down with obviously Ghost because they're obviously healers. Using this on the Charmy to where she can't actually heal because getting level 3 magic lower is massive as well. Like, this might be a really good character. Another really good character people have been using a little bit because obviously the raid bosses, or I guess guild boss, is Nebra because she... you don't really care about the ultimate, but this does apply level 4 incapacitate for 2 turns. This is huge, by the way. Like, just... And you can compare that with other command attacks so it can get really interesting. This one's insane. You don't really ever see the transform because you can't do it against boss fights, but you can actually transform someone into an actual cocoon, which means they can't use any obviously skills. You also reduce their defense, easy to kill them, but the biggest thing for the skill page is you inflict buff immunity. I'm not too sure what buff immunity is. Like, I think they can still get barriers, so it's not too helpful there. But in terms of like increasing the mobility, the speed, you know, a lot of stuff that the SRs and rare characters are going to do, this might be really, really good just to chip them down. It's only one turn, so it's not going to be the greatest, but this could help out a lot here. And I mean, it's doing so much in like one skill. It's not like it's just buff immunity. You're getting a defense level for 2 turns. You're getting having a chance to transform. It's going to be a really, really good skill. Reduce magic attack, single target. Highest mobility. It's not. It's a random effect, but it could be good. Okay, so boys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Let me know what you lot are gonna be using. Like I said, I don't know my exact team. If I had to guess, I might go towards this. I feel like this might be broken. Not a lot of damage going on here, but you might be able to stall it long enough and just have so much defense and tankiness and healing that you can make the game go on for so long that they slowly kill themselves. Does that make sense? If you've gotten that far in PvP, might try something like this, or it might be like a really good defensive team a little bit, but you have a lot of taunts, you have a lot of damage and healing as well. So this might be one of my go-to teams. So boys, thank you for watching. Let me know what teams you lot are going to be using. There's going to be so many different combos and possibilities that we're not even going to realize. And I haven't even focused too much on the actual rare characters. And I know from experience, some of them are actually pretty good in PvE. Especially like Seke, you can see he was my GOAT for a long time. So they might be usable, and I might be sleeping on them. So we'll have to wait and see. So boys, thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.